National Trophy, and Masterton puts the power down in the Big Falcon and absolutely barrels past Fury. Fury trying to get up on the inside as they go into the top corner, but no luck. It's Cullen on the outside of Brock. Brock keeps the tight inside line. Fury and Masterton are going down there, not exactly side by side, as you can now see. Masterton is in front. Brock is up into third place. And a very tight field. This is a dangerous part of the race in terms of likely touches, because there are so many cars so close together.
Peter McLeod didn't get away from the starting grid in car number 50, the 50 Mazda.
Now, it's Masterton first through. Brock is right on the tail of the Bluebird. I mean, you can see the actual comparison of sheer power down this long straight. Normal V8 against turbocharged 2-litre-4. It's still the turbo in front. Masterton taking a wide line to get the fast run through. Brock still behind Fury, and that's the way they'll go into the bend.
Warren Cullen is next, then Andrew Harris.
Masterton, always been fast in the latter part of this season, hasn't enjoyed good luck. Maybe today is his change of fortune. That's Paul McLeod, who just didn't get into the race at all. The 50 car being pushed off the track.
John Harvey moves up into 5th spot in the race. He's just passed Andrew Harris, so he's right on the hammer of Warren Cullen, and looks eager to go faster. Johnny Harvey in 5th spot.
28 laps to go, and they pass the start-finish line this time. Again, Brock right on the tail of Fury. Masterton in front by maybe 30 metres, a bit less, 20. In fact, they're starting to haul him in down the straight, although the Big Falcon should be quick here. Under braking, they might go just a little deeper. Fury and Brock each pursuing a slightly different line. Brock goes much wider on the way through the bend to get a quick line out. Fury right on the tail of Masterton, and this will be the interesting lap as far as Steve Masterton is concerned. Someone has disappeared in the dust and is hiding his embarrassment very successfully. 1, 2, 3, Masterton, Fury, Brock.
On the new section of the course. Not much opportunity to get by in these big cars on this section.
Certainly those high curbs they've put there too made the lads stay on the circuit a bit more. Those who run over them get themselves into the circuit bed for trouble. As you can see, it puts the car right off balance, so it's mandatory to stay very, very carefully on the island.
They close right up on Masterton through that section, but here on the straight, power down to Masterton. They're gradually getting closer though.
Under brakes, Fury goes closer and will be right on his tail. Brock again takes a very wide line into the corner, maybe a fast line out, but he seemed to disappear from the circuit for a while. He's there, and that's his red and white nose. You can just see it behind Fury's car, waving around like a windscreen wiper. Still Masterton in front, under a lot of pressure. In fact, he's drawn a lot bit from Fury, which is surprising. Not the part of the circuit where you'd expect the Big Falcon to have an advantage, but he's got away a little bit. Cullen in a very close 4th place and determined to get up there in the battle for the lead. The battle being led this time by Masterton, who slides the tail around. Fury there with Brock, still glued to his tail.
Big space now between the leading 5 cars, then back to Johnny Harvey, who lost a lot of ground, has been passed again by Andrew Harris.
In his Commodore. So it's 1 Falcon, 1 Bluebird and 3 Commodores in the leading 5. There's the leader, Steve Masterton. George Fury just popping his nose out to have a look. Peter Brock doing a little more than that, but doesn't really have the position to offer a real challenge. As you can see, he'll still be a good 2.5 car lengths behind. They go through the S-bends.
Harris driving the second of the Kmart Commodores. Warren Cullen at the wheel of the first, and up ahead of him, Cullen right, not right on the tail, but he's holding that 4th spot behind Brock. Fury second. Masterton, as they come down the straight, still piloting the field. The Diners Club International Trophy Race for touring cars at Calder.
Well, some might have expected Masterton to wilt under the sort of pressure that's being applied, but in fact he's leading. He's drawing away a little bit, not by much, only a few metres in it.
The whole field is strung out remarkably the last lap and a half. And they're starting to move up on slower cars coming down the back straight now. You can see right there, Masterton looming very large in their rearview mirror.
Andrew Mollison in front, the man with the rather nasty job of being just in front of the leading bunch and going as hard as he can. He's not going to give way because he's got nowhere else to go. But this allows the pursuers of Masterton to close right up. Then Mollison moves over and 3 little blurs go through. That's all he would have seen of them.
We've got more traffic here. Move over, boys.
Steering on down the straight, they take the fast line, those being overtaken keep a little wider out. One of those car 10, Les Swallow, very courteously pulling to the far side of the track.
Masterton, Fury, Brock, Cullen, and they've now dropped Harris off. He's about 60 metres astern in 4th place, so it's really a race in 4. And Cullen making a big move on Brock as they go down the back straight.
That's Cullen in the car that you saw travelling on the inside line, just putting his nose almost alongside Brock. So Brock himself under pressure, as Marston, having been held up, allows his pursuers to close up. So there are 4 cars there. Cullen waving his tail through there, which suggests maybe a handle or a tyre problem, because it is very, very twisty through there, and these cars are going quickly.
And it's very hot.
Marston, John Shepherd, is driving very well, isn't he, under a lot of pressure?
Yes, he's beginning, when I say beginning, he's been maturing for a while now, but he was a wild man a year or so ago. He's starting to settle down. Once you get a bloke like him in a good car, they'll settle down and become quite a steady driver, and that seems to be what he's doing this weekend.
Well, he's got some fast drivers behind George Fury, who certainly has established himself as one of our quickest. After all, he was in pole at Bathurst this year, so he knows how to go quickly and has developed into a great race tactician. Another car being lapped there. This is going to be awkward for Brock and for Cullen, because unless the driver stays clear, which I think he's done, they're going to have difficulty getting by. Cullen had a bit more problem, not down the driver's fault. He just had nowhere to go on the apex of that bend. But it's caused Cullen to drop back a few lengths, so it's 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Brock number 3, and starting on the wide there, he was putting a bit of power down, maybe just a little early.
Brock pulls out now, goes to the inside, trying to get up under Fury, but by gee, that Turbo Bluebird can really motor along, even on the straights.
And it's only under braking, Gary, that he has any advantage over the Big Falcon, because on the straights the Falcon is just as quick, gets its power done very early on, which isn't always a thing that the Turbo can do. They need a bit of rev and a little bit of time just to get the full powerhouse working properly. So it's Masterton, Fury, Brock, and a little bit further back, Warren, Cullen.
Then Andrew Harris, Johnny Harvey, followed by car number 18. That's Murray Carter, who had wretched luck at Bathurst, of course, out on the first lap.
Murray doing very well in his Valentine cars RX-7.
Certainly is.
The leading master in the group. Carrying the flag that Alan Moffat has been holding for most of the year. The car spearing down.
Car 41 spins out on the back section. It's Tony Herbert in the Ghostbusters RX-7.
Maybe found a few ghosts there. Another white RX-7.
He's having trouble getting out.
Yeah. He must have thought the old rallycross circuit was still there. Couldn't find it. Came back on the track.
Checkered flag. Well, he hasn't found it yet.
He's got another 20 laps to go before he'll be held out for anyone. At the moment, Masterton leads, but Fury's still very close. Brock has dropped back just a little. He'd now be a couple of lengths further back than he was this time last lap. Fury maintaining that pressure on Masterton. And Masterton driving car really throwing the Big Falcon into the bend here, down the main straight again. Cullen is in sight, but dropped back. He'd be now a good 45 metres behind Peter Brock in 3rd place. Here are the leading cars coming down the straight. Well, he's still having trouble. It's Tony Herbert with the RX-7. Must have a problem with the tyre or handling. He's been off again and soldiering on to get round to the pits, I would think. Being passed by the leaders at the moment and getting out wide, which is not a pleasant place to be. Now, if his car's not handled properly, he can have trouble through here because he's got Brock and he's being held up. He can't find his way past him quickly, and Brock will be annoyed by that. It's costing him maybe 5 or 6 car lengths. You can see now Brock not in sight as they come round with 19 laps to go. Marston just misses one of the RX-7s, who was going so slowly out of the corner that he wasn't expecting to have to swerve quite so suddenly.
Just coming onto the top of the main straight now. Great battle for 5th spot going on between Johnny Harvey and Wayne Harris. And up front, the battle continues between Steve Masterton and George Fury.
Well, Brock has dropped back. You can just see his car, the red and white front of the car there, much further back than he was, because of the difficulty in passing one of the slower cars, a car with a handling problem.
The S-bends on the back of the circuit, the top corner, the sweeping right-hander now at glow weave, not quite as sweeping.
It'll be hot work out there today. Marston is handling this Marston handling this slot car through there. He really is following a very precise line, and that's the car we were speculating about going into the pits there. There's Swallow, we saw earlier on being lapped.
3 seconds now between first and third. That's Masterton and Brock, but of course there's almost no margin between Masterton and Fury. Although down the back straight, Masterton's pulling out quite a lead. Fury closes up again under brakes, and you'll find that going through the assist here, no, he's a little untidy there, George. Just tail out a fraction, and Masterton is maintaining a slight gap over him.
And Brock, who was delayed in passing the car, will be a good 80 metres behind and going very hard, trying to make up ground. Has made up ground. Here he comes now. He's made up maybe 10 metres through the bends, but riding very hard. I don't know what. Another car that's slow out of it. This must be causing the leading group a lot of trouble. They come out of that bend on a very precise line, going as hard as they can, needing a fast exit to get the speed down this long straight, and being denied it time after time. In comes one of the Capri's, Laurie Nelson, a long-time exponent of this particular mark. The circuit being revised. If you haven't been out to Calder in the last few days, as you probably haven't, you'll find the pit's now on the other side of the track. An enormous amount of money has been spent here in revising the track. This is the most obvious sign, this new series of bends on the back side of the circuit. But there are new pits, new grandstands in which we're broadcasting. And Masterton still maintaining that lead. It'll be hot work there because it is a particularly warm day in Melbourne today, and very hot here out at Calder. I don't know what George Fury can do about Steve Masterton. They now go across the line. They've got 16 laps to go, and Masterton is ahead.
We'll take a break and be back for the continuation of the Diners Club Trophy for touring cars at Calder.
He went off there, still in the lead, but he went wide just on the that bend there, got into his dirt, almost got the car off, managed to hold it. Here he goes again. He's coming up to try and pass the car, slides, hot tyres. Fury goes through, I think, without any problem at all. Brock is through.
Yes, a big fat Camaro on the road.